Hello YouTubers, Alaska Prepper here. Now ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly why I've been sounding the alarm about stock up on the things that you're going to need in the future. This short article here says it a lot better than I say it. Okay, I get a little emotional when I talk about how our freedoms and our labor is being stolen. But this article articulates it a little better than I can. But before we start, let me go ahead and, first of all, sorry about yesterday. I did put a post on the community post saying that I was not going to do a live stream yesterday. Something came up, all right, and I had to take care of that. However, I'm going to go ahead and have one today at 1 p.m. Alaska time, which is 5 p.m. Eastern time. And during that live stream, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and draw the two names for the two winners of the Opus solar generator. The one that I reviewed here about a week ago or so. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. I'll leave it on the right hand corner. That way you can enter to win one of the two 600-watt solar generator that Opus is giving away, all right, to the AP community. All right, so go watch that video. That way you know how to enter. When I read this, and of course I'm going to share it with you, what I read is that you need to stock up now. Why? Because your money is becoming worth less and less and less. And as I've stated in the past, you're going to have to work more to make less, or work more to just be able to buy the same amount that you could before. When people look at money, they look at it in nominal terms. I look at it as a representation of seconds and minutes and hours of my life, because that is what you have to give up in order to earn that money, so that you can then go out there and purchase those things that you need in order to sustain your life. So here, as it says, the harder you work, the less you're taking home. And that is the truth, not only with direct taxes, but with the indirect tax of what is called inflation, ladies and gentlemen. I was reading an article earlier today about someone trying to explain what inflation was and how it's good. And it was from the World Economic Forum's website. And I'm like, it's incredible. They're trying to tell people that, hey, inflation is really not a bad thing. You know, it's a good thing, when in fact, inflation is a good thing for those people that own a lot of assets. So if you're in the top, I don't know, 5-10% maybe, and you own a lot of assets, you own your own home, you own a lot of investments, you own a lot of land, you own expensive artwork, expensive cars that are collectible and things like that, that go up in value as inflation rises, it's good for you. So in a way, when I was reading that article, and it's not an article that I'm going to share with you because it was a really long article and it was very boring. But in a way, when I was reading that article, and the folks from the WEF, they were saying that inflation is really a good thing, I think that they were maybe referring to themselves and to that class of people that are in those positions where inflation does benefit them. But who inflation really hurts is the working class. Not even just the poor class, but the working class and those that are on fixed incomes. So if you're on a fixed income like Social Security or a pension, your inflation or your cost of living increase that you get every year never outpaces inflation, ladies and gentlemen. It's always a little bit lower. Why? Because the government needs to continue to steal your labor. They need to continue to do that in order for them to stay viable. In order for our financial system not to crash, they have to continue to steal your labor. Because as I've said in the past, it is your labor, ladies and gentlemen. It is your labor that backs up the US dollar. Now, is this about prepping? Of course it is. You know, some people may come here and say, well, this is a prepping channel. Why do you talk about the dollar and inflation and stuff so much? Because, ladies and gentlemen, if we can see what's coming down the road, then we can prepare for that. And what I've been saying for a long time now is stock up. Not only stock up in case a crisis happens, but stock up because we are in the middle of a crisis. We've been in the middle of a crisis, and that crisis is inflation. Inflation will continue to steal your purchasing power, and you'll be able to get less and less every year with the dollars that you earn and the labor that you produce. So stock up now if you can. If not, then dollar cost average into your preps, meaning that you have to be disciplined where every month or every payday you take a portion of what it is that you earn and always dollar cost average in, meaning that you buy whatever it is that you need to buy to fill in the gaps or to add to your preps to make up your stockpile, no matter what the price is. That way you can make sure that you do have that stockpile. But inflation, ladies and gentlemen, it's not going away anytime soon, because there's nothing that the Federal Reserve can do. They can pop up interest rates all they want, but the matter of fact is this, all right? And then I'll go ahead and start sharing this article with you. The matter of fact is this, ladies and gentlemen, that unless the Federal Reserve props up interest rates at a higher level than what inflation is, it's not going to do anything for you and me, the working person, the person that goes out there and earns a wage. It's not going to do anything, all right? If inflation is higher than what the interest rate is at the base, then that means that you're still earning less today than what you did yesterday, because you can't keep up with inflation. I hope that makes sense the way that I said that. It says here, inflation came in much stronger than expected today, rising 0.6% in January and 7.5% year over year over the last 12 months. Now, obviously, this is a couple of weeks old, but I think that is very relevant, and it is very important, ladies and gentlemen, that we understand this. It doesn't matter, all right, listen, it doesn't matter what socioeconomic status you are, at what socioeconomic level you may be. It doesn't matter. This will affect you unless you are one of the top that doesn't really care about inflation, because it doesn't matter to you whether a pound of chicken breast is $3 or $17. It doesn't matter to you because you have that much money. This will affect you every single day. All right, so this is important to know. This is one of the things about the United States of America and many other Western nations that people in general have failed at. And I'm not saying that it's people's fault, because we've been propagandized by the media, by the schools, by politicians to not know what these things are, because it's not taught. It's not taught in a simple way. Let me ask you a question. What do you think about this statement that I'm about to make, or this question that I'm about to ask you? Why do you think it is that whenever you see a Federal Reserve pundit, be it the chairman of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, or be it one of the Fed presidents, or whenever you see a financial person on the mainstream media speaking, why do you think it is that they speak in terms that are words that are not common? And what I mean by words that are not common, it's not using words that don't exist. They do exist, but they're not common. The average person out there with an average high school education has maybe a reading grade level of, like, I don't know, 5th or 6th grade, I think, is what I read somewhere a while back. But what I mean about that is that they use words when they talk. When the Federal Reserve Chairman talks, Jerome Powell, he's not talking to you. He's talking to his Ivy League colleagues, i.e. banksters and people that are already at the top. That's who he's talking to. He's not talking to you. He doesn't tell you what inflation really is. All right. Remember when this inflation first started, they said that it was going to be like temporary, transitory, right? Why didn't he just say exactly what transitory means? He said inflation was going to be transitory. And what do people think that means? I know what I thought that meant when he was first saying that. I thought that it was inflation is going to last a little bit and it's going to go back to normal. Well, it's true. It will last a while. Transitory means a period of time from A to B. It doesn't mean a month or two. It just means a period of time from A to B. Right? That's transitory. And it also means that once the inflation has stopped going up and it levels off, it doesn't mean it's going to come back down to where it was before. It doesn't mean that the prices will come back down. It means that the inflation will be transitory, which means that it's going to go up at a higher rate than what it normally goes up. And then once it gets to a certain level, it's going to flatten out. But it doesn't mean that the prices are going to come back down. Why can't he speak like that? Why can't he talk like that to the average person that's listening? Because it's not to you, ladies and gentlemen, that he's talking to. He's talking to his Ivy League colleagues. That's why they use these words, because they know that the average person is not as educated as they are. And I'm not saying that the average person is stupid by saying that. But the fact of the matter is that if you didn't go to these colleges where they teach these fancy words, you're not going to know what the fancy word is. Doesn't mean you're stupid. It just means that you don't know what it is. So why do they talk in the manner that they talk? Because it's not to you that they're talking. Man, I'm sorry about that. All right. So, by the way, over the past 3 months, the CPI has now hit 8% at an annual rate. So we are at 8% now, suggesting price increases are getting even worse, not better. And we all know that. But what we have to really realize is that we need to prep. Yes, things are more expensive now. I went out and I bought that case of chicken from Costco, and it was $6 more, or a little, almost $6 more than what it normally was. I still bought it because I know that in a year from now, a year and a half from now, it's going to be more expensive than what it is today. It's just a matter of fact, and they are telling you this. If you listen to these people on the TV shows, you know, the financial TV shows or the Federal Reserve, they are telling you that inflation is going to continue to go higher. They just don't say it in plain terms. Grocery prices up 9.4% the last 3 months at an annual rate of 7.4% for the year, which that, ladies and gentlemen, grocery prices up 9.4%. What they do with that is they take everything, right? They're taking everything. They're not taking the things that you really need to live. So if you take all the junk food and stuff like that out of it and you put in the things that you really need to live, it's a lot higher than 9.4%, as evident with just one thing. Look at oil prices. I mean, oil prices have skyrocketed in the last year. I mean, from olive oil going up more than 50% to like vegetable and corn oils going up 50 to 30%. So everything is skyrocketing on the things that we need to eat. Like, look at chicken. The canned chicken went up by about almost 50%, about 45%. Right? And they're here telling you that it's only up 9.4% with 7.4% year over year. Well, we all know, ladies and gentlemen, that it's a lot higher than that. And like I've stated in the past, commodities, ladies and gentlemen, are going to continue to go higher year over year for the long term. I'm looking at 10, 20 years. We're going to be paying higher prices for commodities, especially those commodities that we need to live. All right. And here it says electricity, which is a commodity, is up 21% over the past 3 months. Incredible. Overall energy up 18.3% for the past 3 months. I was on my way to, I forgot where I was going yesterday. Oh, to get water. I was on my way to get water yesterday with my wife. And I looked at the price of heating fuel, and it has gone up by 20 cents in the last, I don't know, month or so. It's gone up by 20 cents a gallon. And I told my wife, I was like, man, I'm so glad that I had my heating fuel just filled. Because I had it filled here, I don't know, a few weeks ago. And I got it filled at the lower price. Just that 20 cents alone, it would have cost me an additional $100 or so. Just that 20-cent difference to fill up my tanks. So everything is going up, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this. Clothing up 12.3%. Gasoline up 21%. Another thing I was looking at, because I stopped to get fuel the day before yesterday, on Friday, I think it was. Or on, yes, on Friday. So not the day before yesterday, but on Friday. But another thing, we are almost at $4 a gallon now. I think gasoline here was like $3.89 in town. So everything is going up, ladies and gentlemen. That is what I'm trying to tell you here. This is the time that we need to prep. I would not tell you what to do with your money, but I'm telling you this right now. It's something that I've said several times. I would rather have money in my pantry than money in the bank. Instead of leaving money in the bank, I'd rather take that money out and make sure that I have a full pantry. So if you're out there and you don't have a full pantry and you have a family and you have a lot of money in the bank, let me ask you this question. What happens if the banks close like they did in Canada? What happens if we do have a cyber attack and everything is closed for months? What good is that money doing you in the bank? Ask yourselves that question. And it should be very easy for you to decide to make sure that you're prepped up for yourself and your families. If you're a hard-working, middle-class, blue-collar family, the inflation tax is hitting you hard. For production and non-supervisory workers, wages have increased almost 7% over the past year, but prices have gone up 7.5%. So you're still underwater. Do you see that, ladies and gentlemen? That 0.6%, that 0.6 of 1%, that is the theft of your labor. So between last year and this year, they are stealing 0.6% of your labor more than they were stealing the year before that. It doesn't sound like a lot, huh? 0.6% of your labor. Multiply 2,000 times 0.6%. Right? Multiply 2,000 times 0.6%. What is that? I think 12 hours. So that means that between last year and this year, you are working an additional 12 hours, all right? You're having to work an additional 12 hours in order to be able to buy the same stuff with what you're making this year with what you made last year. That's how you have to look at it. You are working an additional 12 hours, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very serious problem, and there is no end in sight. We've saved America by killing the bill, and what they mean is the dollar bill. But the new mission is to save America by killing inflation. Right now, there is no action on the horizon that will kill inflation. And there is none, ladies and gentlemen. We may have a very short deflationary period, in my opinion. But once that begins, they're going to put rockets on the printing press, and we're going to go into an inflationary spiral. The culprit at this point is the Federal Reserve. We are in the midst of a price-wage spiral, meaning prices are going up so fast that the workforce must demand higher wages. And it is a spiral, because you demand higher wages because prices are going up, all right? And employers have to pay you higher wages, because if not, they just won't get people to work for them. Then they have to pass that on to the consumer. So then prices get more expensive. So then you demand even higher wages, and it just continues on an upward spiral until, until the balloon pops. And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, I'll go ahead and leave a link to this article if you want to go ahead and take a look at it, because I did skim through it. But they finish off by saying, by the way, the commodity price explosion indicates how much your money's value has declined. Okay? Remember that commodities go up and your wages don't go up and keep up with the commodity prices. It means that the value of your dollar is going down. It means that you're having to work more for less. Commodities are a good benchmark for dollar value. Exploding up, your dollars are going down. Same thing like with gold. Well, gold and silver are so manipulated that you almost can't really trust the actual nominal price on gold and silver. See, gold and silver, or especially gold, is supposed to be like a barometer that gauges the health of the dollar. The higher that gold is, the less healthy that the dollar is. Right? And the lower that gold is, the more healthy that the dollar is. Really, gold and the dollar should be at a fixed rate. If that was the case, our dollar would be extremely valuable, and there would be almost no inflation whatsoever, ladies and gentlemen, because the production of gold on a year-to-year basis, or the mining of gold on a year-to-year basis, equals to about 3% year over year, which is roughly about the increase in the population of the earth. Having said that, again, remember, we're going to go ahead and have a live stream at 1 p.m. Alaska time, 5 p.m. Eastern time today to make up for yesterday's live stream. And I will be giving away or choosing the winners of the giveaway of the 2 solar generators from Opus. All right. Having said that, I hope that you had a great weekend. I hope that you're having a good day off today, too. Hopefully, most of you are on holiday today or on a day off from work. Remember to be good to each other. When good people do good things happen. Remember to reach one, teach one, and repeat. If we all did this, the world would be a better place, and you know that it will be a better place. Many blessings to all of you and your families. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out.